Hi there, it's Dutch Reefer here and welcome to a new video in the Reef Keeping 101 series. So today it's featuring my Nano reef tank again. This tank has been running for about 8 months now, and I wanted to give you a brief update on the current status and some of the problems that I'm coming across. So all in all, if you look at this tank from a distance, you could say it's going pretty well. The corals are growing nicely, everything is looking quite healthy, polyp extension is good, and I'm really happy with that and grateful for that, of course, since that's always your goal as a reefer, to see your reef thrive, no matter how small or big your reef tank is. So I think in general, I'm very pleased with the way the tank has developed over the past 8 months after setting it up initially. And all in all, it's time to start optimizing, but also to let the tank settle in a little while longer, because of course it can take quite a while for a reef tank to get into an optimal stage where it's running smoothly. We're not there yet, but that's fine. My big tank has also taken well over a year to adapt, and it's finally coming together now. So I'll give this reef some time. You might ask, what are you talking about? Well, you might have already seen some of it in the corners, in the back corners from this angle. But let's zoom in a little on that. So there's actually a couple of things that I wanted to go across. One of them is that the green algae is returning, which in itself is not a bad thing. I got rid of most of the green algae a couple of months ago, 2 months ago, with Reflux, which is a product that contains fluconazole, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, which is a very efficient way of getting rid of green algae in your tank, and that worked a charm. Actually, I was quite surprised with how it got rid of all the algae in this little tank. So I was really happy with that. But it's slowly returning, of course, as a reef tank does. Green algae will start reappearing, which is totally fine. For now, I can keep it under control, so that's perfectly fine. Another thing that often returns in reef tanks is Ciano algae. There's 2 different kinds, and I have both of them, so I wanted to share both of them with you. The first one is green Ciano algae, as you can see right here in the corners, and the other type is red Ciano, which you can see right here in front of this elegance coral. Then there's also a different kind of algae, which I'll go across directly after this, which is diatoms, which are right here, which are a bit more yellowish. So typically these kind of algae develop when there's an imbalance in your tank on a nutrient level. So it might be that my nitrates are a little high, or my phosphates are a little high, or both of them, or there's an imbalance between them, and often that goes combined with the fact that there's not optimal flow in your tank. So if you keep tank flow optimal, you'll prevent Ciano from appearing, but of course that's very hard to do, even especially in a small cube like this. So as you might be aware, there are 2 pumps in my tank. One of them is right here, and the other one is right there. And of course there's the return valve, which is right here. And these three means of flow combined together create the flow in this reef tank, which is sufficient, I would say, but definitely well, apparently not sufficient enough to make sure that no red algae appears. So you might ask how I'm going to get rid of it. Well, I'll just leave it be for a couple more days, and if it doesn't disappear by itself, which it might, then I'll start hosing it off with a hose that I'm using to change my water. So in that, removing a bit of the quote unquote contaminated sand. Other than that, I think the tank is running quite well. So apart from the algae, the corals are looking quite happy. Let's do a quick round of corals. So the Recordea, which you can see right here, which are grouped together, are nice and fluffy. They even start spawning little ones. I spotted one right here, as you can see, on the bottom left, which is a nice thing to see. All the other ones are doing fine as well. Nice polyp extension. This one, which is hosting the clownfish, is also doing very well. The bright green one. The chalices are doing pretty well, growing even. These zoanthus, which are always a very nice coral to have in your tank, are also doing well. The blue ones not so much. Still figuring out what's wrong with them. So you might have spotted this blenny here, which is the Salarias. This little buddy. It's a very nice fish, always on the watch. There it is. Usually it's pretty shy, but not today. Which is nice to see, for a change. The other Discosomas are also doing really well. So the red ones here, there's actually, they contain little pink spots, which shows best on this one here at the bottom, which is coming all the way. It's a bit hard to see on camera, but it's stretching all the way from here, and it's actually attached somewhere here. So it's stretching all the way to get some of the light on its body. So the other LPS are also doing fine. As you can see right here, this Favia, for example, the Duncan corals right behind that, the Acanthostrea, the Turbinaria, these Lord of the Rings zoanthus as well. Here's one that I've saved from the big tank. So sometimes these cabbage corals, which are pretty common corals, can retract when they want to shed some old skin, and my other fish, my big fish, will start nipping at it, which of course will then end up in a vicious cycle where it starts where it shrivels up and the fish start biting it. So I've put it in this tank to cure, or to heal actually. Yeah, and that's going to take a couple of months, I think. So last of the corals are in the top section of the tank, the somewhat more hard corals, which are also doing fine, I'm glad to say. The Cephastrea on the back of the overflow box is spreading out pretty quickly. It's actually already moving towards the overflow, as you can see right here. And I always like this kind of coral, which is slowly spreading throughout the tank until it eventually might take up a large section. But it will grow steadily, and we'll leave it be. So there's one thing I wanted to mention is that these clove polyps weren't here before, because before there was this Acanthostrea echinata, which is a beautiful green coral with orange hearts. This is a very old coral, even though it's not very big. This coral has been in my friend's tank and in my tank combined for over 8 years now. It's one of the first corals we bought when we started the reefing hobby. It's still small, but still yet very beautiful and very resilient. And it was located here which went well for a couple of months until it started attacking this Euphyllia, which is also home to the clownfish. And it was actually pretty aggressive. Didn't expect that. I expected the Euphyllia to be the winning coral. But well, the Acanthostrea was having coral warfare with this Euphyllia, and this Euphyllia, well, it didn't win, as you can see. So this one has died off, this head, or these couple of heads. Luckily, that's where it stopped. So I thought a minute to cut up the coral, to remove the dead tissue, but I could see it was already, it was stopping here, and well, the other part is still alive, and it has been this way for about a week now, so I'm pretty confident that it will stay at this. But a fair warning to you guys, if you have corals close together, even though they seem perfectly fine with each other, one day they could end up attacking each other. So always keep some spacing between your corals to prevent things like this happening. So that was the last thing I wanted to mention in this video. I hope you enjoyed the nano reef for a change again, and well, I'm sure to cover it in upcoming videos as well. Maybe share with you a little bit of how I got rid of the algae, if at all. And well, until then, I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay safe out there, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.